I can't wait to get home, only because yesterday I went through a list of different concepts and companies that I think we can cannibalize and really pull apart to figure out what it is we're going to do with our retail space, with Furrow Publications retail space. Because there's so many intersections with a comic book reader that I think have been left untapped by the overall retail spaces that vend to comic book readers. Definitely can't wait to do some more research on these places and really deep dive into what I do like and don't like about these locations. So getting back from work, had to do some research. And ultimately what I did was I went through the manga house, library, comic book store, art store, Redbox, Blockbuster, GameStop. I kind of grouped them up, right? And then you had a cafe and bookstores. And what I was trying to figure out was multiple things. Some of it being, what do they all have in common? What is the cost? And what are their vendors? What I found is that for most manga houses on the low end, it costs about $50,000 to open, right? And so what a manga house is more commonly known out here as a manga cafe, and it's just a coffee shop where people can show up, there's a subscription fee, and basically you're able to read. Library on the low end is about $20,000, and this is also subscription based, membership based, and there are some commonalities that we'll get into later. A comic book store on the low end, for whatever reason, is about $50,000. An art store surprised me though. They said on the low end, a low end art shop will range anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000. But I'm gonna go ahead and say $20,000 for us, right? So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that 50. A Redbox, a Blockbuster, or a GameStop, kind of some of those entertainment kind of retail spots, on average cost about $50,000. A cafe, I thought this was a little interesting. On the low end, they're saying that a cafe would cost about $80,000. A low-end bookstore is said to cost about $20,000. After that, we want to look at what the similarities are, right? And so all these have internet, right? So a manga house has internet and coffee, 24/7. Obviously, I'm not gonna have a spot that's 24/7, right? Relaxation, private, semi-private booths. That sounds like a coffee shop as well would have, right? And a big collection. This one, as well as a membership, something I won't do. Book rentals. That sounds something like you would see here, right? Rentals, right? So rental of physical media. All of these have physical media as well, right? So then we're still here. Membership, something I wouldn't do, right? Event housing, workshops. That sounds like something that you would do as well in a comic book shop. Art store as well. I saw that a lot of the art stores do workshops and classes, right? And they sell physical goods, right? So overall, like, you're gonna see that the commonality between all this is the physical goods, right? This is not a digital space, right? Same thing with the Blockbuster, GameStop, Redbox, cafe, same thing, right? These are all different vendors, but overall, you're selling coffee. Bookstores as well, physical goods. So here goes that work I did, right? And what I find in the end of it all is that if I had to do it in a nutshell, it's a big collection of comic book and comic book paraphernalia. Basically a location that sells physical goods of fantasy and like sci-fi nature in a relaxed setting that serves both coffee and knickknacks. And that's ultimately what the concept is. I'm gonna keep grinding it down till it's just a little more concise. Like I said, another thing that I noticed was a lot of the vendors, they don't overlap. And what I need to figure out moving forward is, now I'm gonna render this this work that I did today and basically have a whole list of all the different vendors and start figuring out what the minimum purchasing is from each, which one just seems more attuned to what I want to do and who I want to work with. The other thing that I was noticing was a lot of the costs of the startup is things that I've already gone through the year kind of accumulating, right? So they all said like a POS system will cost you, and like I already have a POS system. The other thing was they're saying if you open up a coffee shop, coffee equipment will cost you. I already have some coffee equipment, a professional grade, restaurant style. And so like there's certain things that I have already that I think are gonna cut it back. I already have a fairly large comic book collection that I can put in there. I already have an abundance of zines that will be part of that collection of things people can read. So there's already things that I have, but I would rather have what I think is enough to get started, to do the soft launch, and then just build my way up. But I know that Pro Publication has made some money, and so what I'm gonna do moving forward is figuring out what those revenue streams were, and then really trying to come up with a concrete plan, so that way I spend maybe an hour a day making sure I'm really pushing those things forward in the hopes that that will generate a few more sales coming our way. So that's day 4, you guys. That's the work I did today. Beyond that, you guys, don't forget there's a link in the show notes to Feral Publication Where Weird Calls Home, our website where you get paraphernalia made by us, zines, stickers, and other goodness, right? Beyond that, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let people know what we're doing. Lights.